Part 20. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 191. The Saint Ancestor who has mastered the path of invincibility. Chen Yanran and Zhang Wushang also came to their senses, and a bright light appeared in their eyes, bright and dazzling. Zhang Chen used the way of the Emperor of Heaven to aspire to the realm of the Saint Ancestor. This means that Zhang Chen's combat power, even in the Saint Ancestor, in the realm, they will all be the best. In other words, unless there are such rumored giants. Otherwise, Zhang Chen may be invincible to the world. In the Dark World Sea at the moment, the situation is getting stronger and stronger. Now, an invincible Saint Ancestor has been born, which is naturally a good thing for them. Boom! When Chen Yanran and the other 4 Saint Ancestors were shocked and ecstatic, a shocking loud noise was heard in the boundless darkness. After that, a deep sound and the mysterious pupils appeared from the darkness, covering the entire sky. Saint Ancestor level creature. Chen Yanran and other 4 great Saint Ancestors looked at each other and sensed the cultivation level of that pupil light. At their level, there is no need to fight at all. With just a moment of perception, they can sense the opponent's cultivation level. Have the creatures in the Dark World Sea awakened? This also made Chen Yanran and the others look more and more urgent. The creature that just appeared is the Saint Ancestor level. How many Saint Ancestor level creatures are hidden in the Dark Sea? Let's start. After that, Chen Yanran came back to her senses. After her fingers transformed into seals, a long river of time emerged around her, evolving into endless mysteries. Buzzing. Buzzing. Granny Tianhua, Zhang Wushang, and Venerable 4 Elephants all returned. Gods, one after another, sacrificed their formation flags. Boom, boom. Immediately, there was a roar like the sky collapsing. At this moment, the whole world shook violently, and there was a feeling of shaking the sky and the earth. Immediately afterwards, a shocking vision emerged. In the sky was shaking. On the screen, eras such as ancient times, ancient times, ancient times, myths, ancient immortals, and immortals emerged. In each era, completely different scenes emerged. After intertwining with each other, they turned into an unprecedented vast world. From then on, that vast world in the world, there are 2 worlds, shining brightly like 2 bright suns. Then, the 2 worlds gradually merged. At the same time, the Xianhuang world and the Xianming world also appeared. Trembling. The disappearing barriers of the 2 worlds reappeared and merged quickly. At this moment, the creatures in the 2 worlds all experienced inexplicable throbbing, and an indescribable feeling emerged in their hearts. That feeling, it seemed that the world was about to collapse, and all living beings were terrified. Those living beings at the ancient ancestor level saw that the laws of heaven and earth were undergoing great changes. Some laws were annihilated, some were reborn in nirvana, and some were reborn. Billions of changes are hidden within. It seems the integration went quite smoothly. Looking at the 2 great worlds that merged with each other, Granny Tianhua, Venerable 4 Symbols, Chen Yanran, and Zhang Wushang, the 4 great Saint Ancestors, all breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the initial integration did not go wrong, then the subsequent integration there should be no problem. Boom. However, just as the 2 worlds were successfully merging, there was an earth-shattering roar. I saw that above the 9 days, there was a huge mysterious black hole. In that black hole in the middle, there is a vast and endless dark energy permeating the air. Vaguely visible, mysterious ancient temples emerge from the darkness. Could that be the dark ancient palace? Looking at the dark ancient palaces that appeared one after another, Chen Yanran's 4 great Saint Ancestors all changed their colors. The dark ancient palaces, according to ancient records from the ancient times, are bridges to the Dark Sea. In history, there have been many people whose lifespans are approaching The giant of the world entered the dark ancient palace to find the way to eternal life. As a result, all beings who entered the dark ancient palace were transformed into dark creatures. Although they were able to survive forever, they were bound. But even so, there are still creatures who continue to seek gain. To find a way out, go to the dark ancient palace. It is precisely because of this that the background of the Dark Sea will become more and more terrifying. After the final war, the world was almost overturned. Chen Yanran and the four of them, although they are all saint ancestors, it exists, but this is the first time I have seen such a rumored dark ancient temple. Wow! As time and space swayed, the void of heaven and earth was torn apart. An ancient dark temple filled with the atmosphere of time and history burst out of the sky. Now. Phew. 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 Immediately afterwards, in the solemn gazes of Chen Yanran and the other four, three creatures with terrifying auras walked out of the dark ancient palace. 3. Holy Ancestors. Feeling the terrifying aura of those three creatures, the expressions of the ancient ancestor-level creatures in the two big worlds all changed drastically, with unconcealable panic emerging. Just from a dark ancient temple, three saint ancestors came out. Then what if all the other dark ancient temples emerge? Exactly at this time, Granny Tianhua's eyes suddenly sank. Now is the time for the two worlds to merge. The four of them are inseparable and must control the magic circle to merge. Once those three dark creatures launch an attack, the fusion of the two realms will definitely be destroyed. I'm afraid, they have been targeting us for a long time, so they took action at this time. Chen Yanran spoke, with sky-blue fairy light blooming all over her body, and above her head, there was a vaguely endless blue sky emerging. Immortal Seed, Sky. After being promoted to the Holy Ancestor, Chen Yanran's immortal seed was also completely awakened and could explode. Supreme Power. However, judging from their appearance, it seemed that they could only manifest a dark ancient temple. Zhang Wushang, who had an ancient immortal palace emerging behind him, watched carefully and breathed a sigh of relief. Because the other looming dark ancient palaces did not break through the void and manifest in the end. In this way, the only one they had to deal with was this dark one. The ancient palace. If it's just the three saint ancestors, then it's not the worst outcome for them. In this way, it should be that the sealing formation of the Dark Realm Sea has not been completely broken through. There are 4 rays of chaotic precious light surging around the venerable 4 elephants, condensing into 4 immortal Dharma. Those are the 4 great innate holy beasts that were famous throughout the world in the ancient times. Granny Tianhua, I leave the maintenance of the magic circle to you. Among the 4, only Granny Tianhua has not changed much. This is because someone needs to stay to control the magic circle and integrate the 2 worlds. And among the 4 of them, Granny Tianhua is the oldest. Most suitable for defense. Good. After Granny Tianhua nodded, an ancient compass appeared in her hand. When the compass bloomed with fairy light, tens of millions of immortal laws emerged, deriving flowers and turning into a world of Tianhua. Ta-ta! But at this moment, a burst of Ifiruao's footsteps came from the dark ancient tower. And the holy ancestor. At this moment, the expressions of Chen Yanran and the other 4 great saint ancestors all changed. If it were 3 versus 3, even if they could not suppress it, they would definitely be able to resist it. But if it was 4 versus 3, the situation would be completely different. A Saint Ziyu's combat power is absolutely terrifying, enough to break the current balance. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 192. That is. As the billowing dark energy surged out, a slim figure walked out of the dark ancient palace. But the moment she saw that person, Chen Yanran's eyes froze and she couldn't believe it. How can it be? Zhang Wushang and Granny Tianhua also exclaimed in surprise after seeing that person. They couldn't believe it. The dark figure who came out was a woman wearing silver palace clothes. Between the woman's eyebrows, there is a mysterious and unpredictable mark of the immortal palace. However, at this time, the mark of the immortal palace has been infected by the air of darkness, revealing an evil spirit. The lord of the immortal palace of the previous generation. Venerable Sixiang noticed the gazes of Chen Yanran and the others, and reacted, uttering in horror. You must know that the previous master of the immortal palace had reached the pinnacle of attainments in the realm of the holy ancestor. Rumor has it that his distance is the realm of legend is only half a step away. Now, such an unparalleled saint has actually thrown himself into the darkness. It seems like they are old acquaintances. Among the 4 dark saint ancestors, a creature with 3 eyes looked at the previous master of the immortal palace and said with a smile. In this case, there is no need to do anything. Beside the 3-eyed saint ancestor, a dark creature with 6 arms spoke. Xiao Yan, long time no see. Chen Xiaoyu, who was wearing silver palace attire, ignored the 2 dark saint ancestors. She looked at Chen Yanran and spoke calmly, with a rather complicated look on her face. After all, the former master and apprentice are now at war with each other. Master, is it really you? Why? After hearing Chen Xiaoyu's words, Chen Yanran's body trembled. She took a deep breath, stabilized her mind, and went straight to the topic without any nonsense. She was naturally asking why her master would rebel to the dark side. Because our road has come to an end, and if we want to continue moving forward, we must change our path. Chen Xiaoyu did not deny anything and stated her purpose. Throwing yourself into the darkness, losing your freedom in exchange for your last breath, is this the path you want to take? Chen Yanran said excitedly. You have never seen the despair that comes to the end, so naturally you don't understand the decision to become a teacher. Chen Xiaoyu sighed softly. She was not very surprised by Chen Yanran's reaction. After all, Chen Yanran was raised by her, and her ideals and mentality were exactly the same as hers before. Before she had seen such insurmountable despair, Chen Xiaoyu was also like Chen Yanran. Like Yanran, she wants to get rid of the dark creatures and then quickly. I really don't understand, and even if I did, I wouldn't make such a decision. Chen Yanran still couldn't admit it, even though the person in front of her was her most respected master. In the past, Chen Yanran had seen the tragedies caused by the darkness and chaos in the long river of time. The originally prosperous world of the heavens, until now, there are already 2 big worlds of theirs. The source of all this is the dark world sea that burst out into the world. It can be said that once the dark world sea is completely unsealed, their 2 worlds will also be annihilated. Since it doesn't make sense, there's no need to talk nonsense and let's do it. Seeing that Chen Yanran and the other 4 were unmoved, the 3-eyed creature spoke. It would be best if they could be persuaded, but if they were stubborn, there was nothing they could do. In the past, the entire world it was completely overthrown by them, and countless saint ancestors died for them. Now, the 4 saint ancestors of Xianhuang Great World and Xianming Great World can't do anything at all. If the sealing circle on the dam has not been cracked, then thousands when the dark ancient palace descends, this universe will collapse in an instant. No matter what, these 2 worlds are already in our pocket, just the 4 saint ancestors. The burly creature with the black dragon under his feet spoke for the first time, with a strong killing intent in his voice. Ang. As he spoke, the black dragon under his feet let out a thundering roar, and rushed out with teeth and claws. For a moment, the world was shaken. Trembling, the endless laws collapsed, and the 2 worlds shook violently and were quite unstable. Is he also the pinnacle of the saint ancestor? Feeling the vast killing power of the black dragon, Zhang Wushang and the others suddenly changed their expressions. Although the 4 of them are all saint ancestors, they are still far away from the top of the saint ancestor. The appearance of Chen Xiaoyu originally made they felt tremendous pressure. Now, The saint ancestor who stepped on the black dragon was actually the pinnacle saint ancestor. How could they fight? If you want to take my Xian Huang world into your pocket, you are not qualified yet. At this moment, a dull voice sounded without warning. As soon as the voice rose, a lifelike ancient immortal dragon tore through the sky and met the black dragon. After the two ancestral dragons collided between heaven and earth, they exploded. There was an impact and killing that destroyed the world. However, the murderous impact did not affect the two worlds, but was annihilated by the layers of space. In the laws of space, a tall figure with a divine body was stepping on it came out of nowhere. The person who came was the one who set foot in Zhongchen, the saint ancestor, in the way of the heavenly emperor. True dragon magic. Seeing that he could resist his black dragon with only the true dragon treasure technique, the black dragon saint ancestor looked at Zhongchen with a look of surprise in his eyes. You must know that his black dragon is his companion immortal beast. He has the real cultivation of the holy ancestor. Now, Zhongchen can actually resist his companion fairy beast just by using the innate magic. This is enough to show what kind of combat skills this newly emerged Zhongchen has. Force. This breath. The way of the Emperor of Heaven. No way. He actually deduced the way of the Emperor of Heaven to the level of the holy ancestor. Chen Xiaoyu and other three dark saint ancestors also felt it one after another, and couldn't help but be moved. Obviously, they are no strangers to the way of the Emperor of Heaven. Naturally, for Zhongchen to prove the saint ancestor with the way of the Emperor of Heaven, it is very surprised. Very good. Chen Yanran, Zhang Wushang, Granny Tianhua and Venerable Four Symbols all breathed a sigh of relief. Regardless. So, now, they are not at a disadvantage in terms of numbers. Moreover, looking at the combat power that Zhongchen unleashed just now, he is probably not weaker than the Supreme Saint Ancestor. Just in time, let me try it on you. Although we still don't know what happened, the dark aura on the bodies of Chen Xiaoyu and the four people has already explained everything. Zhongchen, who came through the air, didn't talk nonsense or anything, and killed directly in one step. At this moment, Xian Huang in the big world, there is a huge and inexplicable will, which descends on Zhongchen. In that situation, it is like the will of the whole big world has been awakened by Zhongchen. Boom. Without any fancy moves, Zhongchen directly the fist was thrown out, and the heaven and the earth were shaking. Whether it was the Black Dragon Saint Ancestor, Chen Xiaoyu and other three great Saint Ancestors, they were all shrouded. An indescribable murderous intention swept through unscrupulously, causing turmoil for 9 days and 10 days. Land. The will of the world. He has actually been recognized by the will of the world. Take action quickly, don't let the two worlds merge. After the three-eyed creature sensed it, it seemed to have remembered something, and its expression suddenly changed. Phew! While exclaiming, a pupil as dark as an abyss appeared between the eyebrows of the creature. The pupil tore through the deep sky, and the desire to crush Zhongchen's shocking killing technique. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 193. Click. But the next moment, there was a clear and crisp sound of breaking. The moment the pupil light touched Zhongchen's killing technique, it was annihilated and shattered. Poof. Immediately afterwards, a world-shaking killing force swept across like a mountain torrent and a tsunami, violently bombarding the Black Dragon Saint Ancestor. The Black Dragon Saint Ancestor, who was already at the pinnacle of the Saint Ancestor, was unable to resist at all. The whole thing was blown to pieces and turned into a sky. Blood mist. A holy ancestor was killed like this. The three dark saint ancestors who were originally preparing to take action shrank their eyes as sharply as needles. They could clearly sense that not only the Black Dragon Saint ancestor's physical body was exploded, but also the origin of his soul was completely obliterated. This weight, the invincible combat power, naturally made Chen Xiaoyu and the others feel cold all over their bodies, and their sense of crisis soared. They are all beings in the Saint Ancestor realm, so they naturally know how powerful the Saint Ancestor realm is. It can be said that the Saint Ancestor wants to defeat fusion. But it is almost impossible to completely obliterate it. In the past and present, there has only been one battle that could completely kill the Holy Ancestor. That was the world-destroying battle in the past when all the Dark Realm Sea was dispatched and almost completely destroyed the heavens. I thought it was so powerful, but it was nothing more than that. Zhang Chen stood in the void, waved his sleeves, and the power of endless space swept across, completely erasing the remaining dark energy of the Black Dragon Saint Ancestor. Not good. When Zhang Chen looked at them with indifferent eyes, the three-eyed Saint Ancestor and the six-armed Saint Ancestor immediately fled back to the Dark Ancient Tower without saying a word. Seal up. But at this moment, a cold shout appeared. Immediately, the void they were in was completely sealed by ice, making it impossible for people to escape. What you up to? The three-eyed Saint Ancestor and the six-armed Saint Ancestor were shocked and angry, and looked at Chen Xiaoyu, who took action. They did not expect that at such a critical moment, Chen Xiaoyu would actually take action against them. Was he trying to rebel? Or was he imagining it? Bureau, let them hold Zhang Chen down? Master. This sudden change also made Chen Yanran, who was about to take action, stunned and a little unable to react. She had originally planned to take action and settle things with her master. But now it seems that her master seems to be planning to take action. Out of the darkness. Phew. At this moment, Zhang Chen had already arrived through the air, and an extremely strong aura of death sealed the three-eyed Saint Ancestor and the six-armed Saint Ancestor. Do you think you can survive by rebelling now? I'm waiting for death, and you don't want to live. The three-eyed Saint Ancestor and the six-armed Saint Ancestor were both targeting Chen Xiaoyu with extremely malicious hatred. Instead of attacking Zhang Chen, they formed seals with each other and cast some kind of spell on Chen Xiaoyu. Chi chi chi. Immediately, Chen Xiaoyu's body was filled with flames as black as ink, and his whole body was ignited in an instant. Master. Chen Yanran's expression changed drastically and she immediately rushed over. Don't come here. This is the fire of darkness. Once it is contaminated, it cannot be extinguished. Chen Xiaoyu stretched out her hand to stop Chen Yanran. She was not surprised by the dark fire on her body. This is the price of entering the Dark Ancient Palace and gaining nearly eternal life. As long as you enter the Dark Ancient Palace, the origin of the immortal way will transform into the origin of darkness, which also means then, their lifeblood was controlled by the Dark Ancient Palace. The spells of the three-eyed Saint Ancestor and the six-armed Saint Ancestor communicated with the Dark Ancient Palace and caused the fire of the origin of darkness in Chen Xiaoyu's body to spontaneously ignite. Die. Almost instantly, Zhang Chen's killing skills also came in. With the blessing of the will of the Xianhuang Great World, Zhang Chen, who became a saint with the way of the Emperor of Heaven, has reached a world-shattering level of combat power. Those two dark statues the Holy Ancestor was unable to resist at all and was wiped clean. After becoming a saint in the way of the Emperor of Heaven, is his combat power so terrifying? Seeing that in the blink of an eye, Zhang Chen killed the three saint ancestors, Granny Tianhua, and the four elephants, all of them were stagnant in place. This is too strong. With such overwhelming combat power, Zhang Chen is afraid that he can compete with him. Those who have set foot in the realm of legends, take action quickly and seal that dark ancient palace. At this time, Chen Xiaoyu, whose whole body was burning with dark flames and whose body was almost transparent, hurriedly spoke to Zhang Chen. While Chen Xiaoyu was speaking, the dark ancient temple that seemed to appear from the endless void was already looming, like to escape. Dark Ancient Palace. Jiang Chen heard this and did not hesitate. Behind him, a Dharma statue with a height of billions of feet appeared. It was Emperor Jiang, the ancestral witch of space, and Zhu Juyan, the ancestral witch of time. Under the power of the two ancestral witches of time and space, that the dark ancient palace was completely frozen in the void, unable to move even a moment. Master, what's going on? Chen Yanran flew over and looked at Chen Xiaoyu, who was becoming more and more transparent and was about to disappear completely. I've reached my limit. This is your only way out. You must grasp it. Chen Xiaoyu said, and the whole person disappeared completely, but at the last moment, there was a bright light spot, which escaped from the dark fire. After Zhang Chen and Chen Yanran concentrated on sensing it, they entered a vast and transparent world of fairy light appeared. In that world of fairy light, Chen Xiaoyu, who had completely disappeared before, had appeared. However, the current Chen Xiaoyu was just a spirit body, not the real body. Spiritual source space. Zhang Chen thought at a glance that this was the original space left by Chen Xiaoyu before she plunged into darkness. I originally thought that the destruction of the heavens was unstoppable, but I didn't expect that an anomaly like you would appear. The fairy light filled the air, and Chen Xiaoyu, who was completely different from the previous dark aura, looked at Zhang Chen. The odd number refers to the way of the Emperor of Heaven. Zhang Chen said. It has something to do with the way of the Emperor of Heaven, but more importantly, you can be recognized by the will of the Xianhuang world. Chen Xiaoyu said. How to say? Zhang Chen asked. Do you know how the heavens survived the disaster that destroyed the world when the Sea of Darkness appeared in the past? Chen Xiaoyu said. There is no record in various ancient books. Zhang Chen shook his head. Because in that era, there appeared an anomaly like you who was recognized by the will of the world. Just like this, the geniuses avoided disaster. Chen Xiaoyu said. So, what exactly is the will of this world? Zhang Chen's eyes were shocked. Chen Xiaoyu's words contained extremely shocking information. What is the will of the world? No one knows this yet, but according to the manuscripts of ancestors, the recognition of the world's will is an important opportunity to aspire to the legendary realm. Sure enough, Chen Xiaoyu revealed a shocking news. In other words, is it possible for Zhang Chen to break into the legendary realm? Chen Yanran's eyes are bright. Chen Yanran is very clear about how difficult it is to enter the realm of legend. She has attained the saint ancestor since the immortal ancient era, but after so many eras, she still has not touched it. The threshold of the legendary realm. This is enough to show how difficult it is to enter the illusory realm of legend. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 194. Given enough time, the possibilities are great. Chen Xiaoyu nodded. So, can we buy enough time to seal that dark ancient palace? Recalling what Chen Xiaoyu asked him to do to seal the dark ancient palace just now, Zhang Chen asked. That's right. The sealing formation on the embankment has not been completely broken yet, so only one ancient temple can be ushered in at a time. As long as you seal that dark ancient temple, there will only be 4 saint ancestor level creatures brought in at that time. With your current combat power, the 4 saint ancestor level combat powers cannot do anything to you. Chen Xiaoyu nodded. It wouldn't be of much use just to block it? Zhang Chen heard this and after pondering for a long time, he asked. There are 2 extremely important factors to attack the legendary realm. One is to be recognized by the will of the world, and the other is that there is no suppression by the laws of heaven and earth. You already have one now, so just block the dark creatures so that they can't interfere with the integration of the 2 worlds. When the 2 worlds are completely integrated and turned into a supreme world, you will be qualified to attack the legendary realm. As long as you can succeed, then you will be able to completely pacify the dark realm. See? Chen Xiaoyu explained. Existences that set foot in the realm of legends also appeared in the past. Didn't they fail to quell the darkness at the beginning, but were robbed because of it? Chen Yanran was quite surprised when she heard the words pacify the darkness. No one in later generations has ever succeeded in that legendary realm. But the most important reason why it has been passed down is that someone has succeeded before. And even if it is successful in the end, the man's blood spilled across the starry sky and failed to calm down the dark turmoil. Therefore, Chen Yanran was a little surprised to hear her master say that Zhang Chen could conquer the dark realm as long as he set foot in the legendary realm. Although the sage in the past set foot in the realm of legend, he was only recognized by the will of one big world, but the situation now is different. If the two big worlds merge, the world will that Zhang Chen can obtain will increase. By then, this increase will not be one or the other. As Chen Xiaoyu was talking, an extremely evil and strange killing technique came suddenly. This spiritual world was completely shattered and annihilated before it could react. Has even Ling Yuan been branded? Zhang Chen and Chen Yanran were not affected much. Those weird sorcery were directed at Chen Xiaoyu. Seeing her master completely distraught, Chen Yanran couldn't hide her sadness. After a long time, she finally cheered up and looked at the dark ancient palace with murderous intent. You tell them what happened and go with the plan. Zhang Chen said to Chen Yanran, and walked directly to the dark ancient palace. He sat down cross-legged, sensing the fusion of the world's will, and sealing the dark ancient palace. Now in the world, there are only Zhang Chen is qualified to stop those dark creatures. Therefore, the fusion of the two worlds can only be left to Chen Yanran and the four of them. Chen Yanran knew that the matter was urgent and without any hesitation, she immediately escaped into the fusion in the magic circle. After a while, Granny Tianhua, Venerable Four Symbols, and Zhang Wushang all knew the matter. After learning that Zhang Chen was very likely to set foot in the legendary realm and be able to pacify the Sea of Darkness, Granny Tianhua and the other three, everyone looked ecstatic. Immediately, they tried their best to join forces with each other to speed up the integration of the two worlds. Time passed quickly in this urgent atmosphere. More than 300 years later, the Xianhuang world, the fusion with the Xianming world, has been less than half completed. The changes in the laws of the two worlds have become more and more obvious. During this period, the darkness sea is approaching, and endless darkness has enveloped everyone. God. In the dark ancient palace, dark saint ancestors would appear from time to time, trying to break through Zhang Chen's seal and prevent the fusion of the two worlds. Obviously, those dark saint ancestors had already noticed the fusion of the two worlds. It will bring them a huge crisis. Unfortunately, no matter how they attack, they can't break through Zhang Chen's magic circle blockade. With the integration of the two worlds, the will of the world blessed by Zhang Chen is getting stronger and stronger. Naturally, the combat power that Zhang Chen can unleash is becoming more and more terrifying. In fact, during this period, Zhang Chen's cultivation has obviously become more and more transformed, and his aura has become terrifyingly powerful. In addition to his cultivation, in addition to the changes, Zhang Chen also received a world-shattering inheritance from the Tianyuan system, and the number of the 12 ancestral witches' Dharma signs is also increasing. Up to now, he has obtained a total of 9 ancestral witches' Dharma signs. Another 200 many years later. Click. Zhang Chen, who was meditating, looked slightly moved. Suddenly, in the dark air that filled the sky in the distance, a dark ancient palace gradually emerged. It was even possible to see that in the dark ancient palace, there are dark creatures surging. Judging from the aura, I am afraid that at least it will be a saint ancestor level existence. How come? Chen Yanran's expression changed. Didn't her master say that before the seal of the dam was broken, only a dark ancient palace could come? So why does this dark ancient temple appear now? You continue to fuse the magic circle, I will deal with this dark ancient temple. Zhang Chen said as a ray of clear light flew out of his body, transforming into a lifelike true body. The true body burst out of the air, carrying the killing power of the world, and powerfully attacked the dark ancient palace. It was the transformation of one Chi. Sanking. Boom. Immediately, an earth-shattering battle spread in the direction of the dark ancient palace. The endless violent destruction of heaven and earth, like a tornado hurricane, swept away unscrupulously. Fortunately, this piece of land where the two worlds merged the area has long been completely blocked by Zhongchen. Otherwise, when the destruction method spreads out, the two worlds will be shattered. In the end, all the dark saints looming in the dark ancient palace were defeated by Zhongchen go back. The astonishing combat power of blocking a dark ancient palace with just one incarnation shocked not only the creatures in the two worlds, but also the creatures in the dark world sea. Because of this, it was far away from the second one. Just a few decades after the dark ancient palace appeared, the third dark ancient palace appeared one after another. Zhongchen used his incarnation again this time to suppress that ancient palace. However, the fourth dark ancient palace and the fifth dark ancient palace, but they have appeared one after another. Even if Zhongchen transforms the three pure beings into one, he is still a little unable to escape. At this time, there is still a huge gap between the integration of the two worlds. Just when Zhongchen was thinking about countermeasures, he seemed to sense something and looked towards the land outside the territory. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Immediately afterwards, creatures with terrifying auras escaped from the endless void. There were more than 10 creatures in total, and they all have the aura of the Saint Ancestor realm. Are they the ancestors who went to the outer world in the past? Seeing the dozen or so Saint Ancestors who suddenly appeared, Chen Yanran and the others looked surprised. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 195. Taisha Demon Ancestor. Zhongchen even sensed a somewhat familiar aura from it. Sure enough, the Taisha Demon Ancestor, who was already a half-step Saint Ancestor several epochs ago, has truly broken into the realm of the Saint Ancestor. Let's see what happens next. A powerful aura and the ultimate attainments of the Saint Ancestor. It seems it's not too late. Looking at the looming fifth dark ancient temple, several of the more than 10 Saint Ancestors rushed over and joined forces to set up defenses. Unexpectedly, there are actually people who can become saints in the way of the Emperor of Heaven. The Taisha Demon Ancestor fled to Zhongchen. Obviously, he already knew Zhongchen's identity. To be honest, the Taoist tradition he had unintentionally created in the past would actually give birth to a monster like Zhongchen. This now makes the Taisha Demon Ancestor Zio can't believe it. Poof. When Zhongchen was about to speak, there was a sudden explosion of bloody light. I saw that in the fifth dark ancient palace that was completely manifested, billions of dark fairy lights exploded. Those fairy lights were as sharp as fairy swords, even the void was directly cutting can shatter the laws of all heavens. The bodies of the Saint Ancestors who rushed over to block the blockade were all chopped into pieces before they could react. Although they did not die physically, they still had a lot of damage to their hands. No, primitive creatures appear. After the Taisha Demon Ancestor sensed it, his expression changed continuously. Without saying a word, he immediately flew over to help. The other Saint Ancestor level beings also did not hesitate and gathered together to form a sealing circle. Because, in that darkness, in the ancient palace, a dark creature appeared vaguely. That creature was different from the rebel Saint Ancestors. It was filled with endless darkness, without any impurities, and was extremely dark and evil. The primitive creatures of the Dark Sea. Zhongchen's eyes narrowed slightly. Just when he was about to suppress it himself, the dark ancient palace where he was also trembling. After that, a primitive creature from the Dark Sea of Darkness also appeared from the depths of the dark ancient palace. The seal of the dam has been completely broken. Seeing that scene, Chen Yan ran, and the other four saint ancestors couldn't help but change their expressions. Only when the Dike array is broken can the primitive creatures of the Dark World Sea walk out of the Dark World Sea. This is trouble. Looking at the primitive creatures emerging from those dark ancient palaces, Chen Yan ran, and the four of them felt a layer of intense uneasiness in their hearts. The primitive creatures of the Dark Realm Sea, together with those saint ancestors who rebelled and turned to darkness, is not the same thing. You must know that even the supreme being who set foot in the legendary realm in the past could not completely wipe out those primitive creatures, and even lost his life. It can be seen from this that those dark seas what terrifying fighting power the primitive creatures have. Boom. Boom. On the side of Taisha demon ancestor and other saint ancestors, a world-destroying war has broken out. Under the siege of more than a dozen saint ancestors, that primitive creature can't even move an inch. He did not retreat, did not fall into the slightest disadvantage, and blocked those destructive killing techniques. Because behind the primitive creature, there was a looming sea of darkness. No matter how injured he was, the sea of darkness could injure him. Healing. In this situation of ebb and flow, the fierce fight that was originally evenly matched gradually began to deviate. Taisha demon ancestor and others were slowly suppressed. You have good qualifications. Come to my holy sea and you can avoid this disaster. At this time, a primitive creature walked out of the dark ancient palace suppressed by Zhang Chen's body. This primitive creature looked like a human and spoke the words of the human race. If it weren't for the dark energy without impurities, it would definitely will be regarded as a human being. I think your qualifications are pretty good. Why don't you defect from the sea of darkness and join us? In this case, I might be able to spare your life. Zhang Chen laughed after hearing this. Although this primitive creature has tremendous fighting power, Zhang Chen didn't care at all. As the two worlds became more and more integrated, the world will he obtained became more and more powerful now. Although he has not touched the threshold of the legendary realm, he is not too far away. Do you think you alone can stop the billions of strong men from our holy sea? The primitive creature was not angry because of Zhang Chen's words, and his tone remained calm. In his eyes, except for Zhang Chen, other saint ancestral existences did not pose the slightest threat. In other words, only Zhang Chen could endanger them. As long as Zhang Chen can be subdued, the entire world will be in their palms. If you don't try this kind of thing, how will you know? Zhang Chen was unmoved. From the attitude of this primitive creature, Zhang Chen could infer that after the two great worlds merged into the supreme great world, they might really endanger the Dark Realm Sea. Otherwise, the darkness with the reaction of Jahe was not so strong. Before all those dark ancient temples arrived, they sent out primitive creatures. Since you don't know what's interesting, I'll suppress you. The primitive creature didn't talk nonsense anymore. With a finger, a dazzling endless darkness appeared. In that darkness, there was an unfathomable dark world evolution, which was enough to sweep the heavens. An unparalleled dangerous aura was then Zhang Chen was sealed so that he could not escape. No wonder he is so confident, he really has some tricks. Zhang Chen's eyes moved slightly, feeling the danger of life and death. To be honest, if he had faced that dark world before, Zhang Chen would have been really in trouble. After all, that dark world connected the entire Dark Sea, hiding endless murderous intent. But now, nearly 1,000 years of light seal have passed, Zhang Chen's trump card is no longer what it used to be. Fusion. After that, Zhang Chen shouted in a low voice. Immediately, the void was like sea water, with thousands of waves rising up. A towering Dharma image appeared all over Zhang Chen, emitting a supreme mysterious aura. It was the 12 ancestral witches. Immediately afterwards, the 12 ancestral witches merged into Zhang Chen's body like 12 meteors. Immediately, Zhang Chen's aura surged like a volcano erupting. Faintly, more, there is a touch of prehistoric aura that does not belong to this era, which is constantly evolving and permeating Zhang Chen's body. How come? The primitive creature that originally wanted to control the dark world and suppress Zhang Chen suddenly changed its expression. Because he sensed a trace of death aura from Zhang Chen that he had never seen before. You must know that his origin has been assimilated with the Holy See. Logically speaking, even if he encounters a being who is stronger than him, there will not be a life or death crisis. But now, he actually felt a sense of death from Zhang Chen? Who is this Zhang Chen who suddenly appeared? Just in time, let me practice with you. Zhang Chen, who had merged with the 12 ancestral witches and whose strength had skyrocketed, looked at the primitive creature. Although Zhang Chen has not yet crossed that bottleneck, his combat power has undergone earth-shaking changes. After all, the 12 ancestral witches are semi-saint level creatures in ancient legends. Although Zhang Chen has only integrated the dharma of the 12 ancestral witches, the increase in combat power is enough to make similar beings despair. This has happened since then. The changes in the expressions of primitive creatures are enough to reveal some clues. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 196. Kill. After that, Zhang Chen didn't hesitate at all. He pointed out a finger, and a half-inch long fingerprint shot out of the air. The fingerprint looked ordinary and seemed to have no lethality. But at this moment, the primitive creature, standing on his head with chills all over his body, he immediately escaped into the darkness without even thinking about it. Unfortunately, in front of Zhang Chen at this moment, the primitive creature had no possibility of escaping. In the broken void, the primitive creature's body stiff. Between his eyebrows, a fingerprint hole appeared, filled with dark energy. It could be clearly felt that the vitality of the primitive creature had completely passed away. In an instant, one statue was enough to fight against more than 10 saints. The ancestor's dark primitive creature died. Along with it, the dark world derived from that primitive creature was completely shattered. How come? Such a terrifying incident naturally caused the entire Dark Realm Sea to tremble. Looking at the entire Dark Realm Sea, there are very few primitive creatures whose origins merged with the Holy See. Each one has had brilliant achievements, and has even defeated many saints. Xiu Yinhen. But now, Zhang Chen just pointed a finger and wiped out a primitive creature? Could it be that Zhang Chen's strength has surpassed that of the saint ancestor and set foot in the legendary realm? The two worlds have not yet merged. Neither the will of the world nor the laws of heaven and earth have reached their optimal limits. He should not have crossed over to the holy ancestor yet. The Taisha demon ancestor and other saint ancestors who were fighting hard also looked at each other. With their cultivation attainments, they could naturally see Zhang Chen's situation at a glance. But even so, the Taisha demon ancestor and other saint ancestors, it was also extremely shocking. Before he even set foot in the legendary realm, he could easily obliterate the primitive creatures. If Zhang Chen really broke through the extreme realm and set foot in the legendary realm, wouldn't it be true that he could completely quell the dark turmoil? After becoming a saint in the way of the Emperor of Heaven, will his combat power be so terrifying? This naturally made the Taisha demon ancestor and other giants think of Zhang Chen's path to the heavenly emperor. Only then did they know why the heavenly emperor's path was known as the Invincible path. He only integrated the 12 ancestral witches into his body, but did not integrate the 12 ancestral witchcraft and magic into one body. How could he have such world-shattering combat power? Zhang Chen, who killed the dark creature with one finger, was also a little surprised. He originally thought that the move just now could only severely damage and suppress the dark creature. But the result was far beyond his expectation. This also made Zhang Chen has strong expectations for the complete integration of the 12 ancestral witches. If the 12 ancestral witches are completely integrated and the true body of Pangu is derived, then even if he does not set foot in the legendary realm, he will be able to sweep away the sea of darkness. Right? Of course, although he was looking forward to it, Zhang Chen still didn't take the risk. Because even now, Zhang Chen feels that his physical body cannot withstand the magic power of the 12 ancestral witches. If the ancestral witches are completely integrated, then I am afraid that Zhang Chen's entire city will explode. It seems that we still have to wait for the Supreme World to evolve and obtain the blessing of the world's will before we can try to fuse the 12 ancestral witches. After Zhang Chen murmured to himself, he looked at the other primitive creatures in the dark ancient temple. Whoa! One step across the space. Zhang Chen appeared in front of a dark ancient temple and punched the primitive creature with a strong punch. But the primitive creature saw the opportunity quickly and immediately escaped with a secret method. Although it looked like it was seriously injured, it still escaped with its life. Swish! Almost at this moment, other dark ancient temples, the primitive creatures all fled into the darkness. At this point, this big crisis that could subvert the two worlds has been resolved. Taisha demon ancestor and other giants breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, before Zhang Chen completely broke out, they really thought that they were doomed this time. You speed up the integration of the two worlds, and I will suppress these dark ancient temples. Zhang Chen did not withdraw from the state of the fusion of the 12 ancestor witches. While he ordered, he activated the laws of time and space to completely seal the 5 dark ancient palaces. Although after this battle, the creatures in the dark world see, I'm afraid he won't act rashly for the time being. But just in case, Zhang Chen still suppresses those dark ancient palaces personally. Thinking about it, after his news is spread back to the dark world sea, there will definitely be a more terrifying crisis. The dark world in the past, even a legendary giant was killed. Therefore, there are definitely creatures hidden in the dark sea that are comparable to the legendary realm. It is precisely with this in mind that Zhang Chen has been concentrating and guarding closely. Taisha demon ancestor and other giants also knew the powerful relationship, and took action immediately without any hesitation. Time passed quickly in such a pressing atmosphere. 700 years passed by like this. In these 700 years, more than a dozen people with the cooperation of the holy ancestors, the two worlds were basically integrated. An unprecedented and shocking change was taking place in the two worlds. The will of the world in Zhang Chen became more terrifying and powerful. Even, Chen Yanran and other giants of the Saint Ancestor could clearly sense the changes in Zhang Chen. Are you attacking the legendary realm? A kind of Saint Ancestor level giants all stared at Zhang Chen, not daring to release their breath. Whether Zhang Chen breaks through or not is related to the life and death of the world. If Zhang Chen succeeds in breaking through, even if he cannot pacify the dark realm sea, chaos is enough to stabilize the current situation so that they do not have to worry about their lives. But if they fail, then I am afraid that they will not be able to escape death. Over the past hundreds of years, they have been able to sense the breath of the dark sea. It is getting stronger and stronger. This means that the seal on the dam is probably almost broken. Naturally, the great terror in the depths of the dark sea may come at any time. Boom! At a certain moment, the Xianhuang Great World and the Xianming Great World, the world was completely integrated and turned into a supreme world. A vast and unparalleled mysterious will descended suddenly and blessed Zhang Chen. Immediately, Zhang Chen, who was sitting cross-legged in meditation, was shocked, and there was an extremely terrifying monstrous way. The Dharma exploded. At this moment, in this supreme world, billions of innate laws and Taoist intentions were surging and filling the air. Is this the realm of Dao Ancestor in the legendary realm? The Taisha demon ancestor and other saint ancestor giants all looked moved and felt carefully. That legendary realm is known as the Tao Ancestor. It means the ancestor of all great ways. It is rumored that those who set foot in the Tao Ancestor realm can command the laws of the heavens and open them with a single thought. God, one thought can destroy the world. Now, looking at the surging innate Taoist visions, Taisha demon ancestor and other giants are shocked. Judging from the current situation, the idea that Dazu can command the heavens is really not just talk. That's all. The Dark Realm Sea appears. At this moment, an exclamation was heard. I saw that in the darkness at the end of the universe, a vast dark ancient sea appeared. In front of the ancient sea, a dike flashing with faint fairy light emerged. The seal on the dike, the immortal talisman, became insignificant, even weak and undetectable. Obviously, the sealing array on the dam was completely unable to block the dark sea. Vaguely, in the deepest part of the dark sea, there was the mysterious ancient palace emerged. An extremely evil and strange aura emanated from that ancient palace. It seemed that the entire dark sea was the derivative of that ancient palace. Things. Sure enough, deep in the dark sea, there are terrifying creatures at the level of Dao ancestors. When they saw the looming ancient palace, Taisha demon ancestor and others' expressions changed, and they could not calm down. The aura of that ancient palace was really dangerous and terrifying. Just sensing a little bit of it gave them endless chills. Boom. At this time, Zhang Chen, who was blessed by the will of the Supreme World, rose into the air. Immediately, all the billions of heaven and earth laws that had evolved were integrated into Zhang Chen's body. Zhang Chen had already reached his limit. The breath is like a volcano erupting, entering a new realm. The realm of Dazu. Zhang Chen clenched his fists slightly, and after sensing the vast sea of cultivation in his body, the fairy light shone in his eyes. Oneness. After that, Zhang Chen did not hesitate, and with a thought, the 12 ancestral witches' dharma, based on him, was completely integrated into one. With the aura of Hongmeng filling the air, Zhang Chen's whole body appeared with Hongmeng fairy patterns, exuding an extremely mysterious prehistoric breath. If you can see through it, you can even see that in Zhang Chen's body, there is a supreme ancient formation emerging from the sky. In the center of the ancient formation, there is a condensed supreme Dharma body. That Dharma body steps on the boundless Hongmeng, and its body ringing the 3,000 avenues, holding the giant axe of chaos. It is none other than Pangu, the innate demon god who once created the world in myths and legends. Did it appear? After the 12 ancestral witches merged into one and the true form of Pangu emerged, Zhang Chen looked at the ancient palace. Phew! Almost instantly, the mysterious creatures in the ancient palace seemed to sense Zhang Chen's aura, with a dark storm emitted. A creature shrouded in darkness appeared, revealing a pair of indifferent and cold eyes, looking at Zhang Chen coldly across the endless void. After the dark creature, there were 6 primitive creatures, accompanying them respectfully. Just in time, it's time to settle it. After Zhang Chen murmured to himself, he took a step forward and rushed directly into the dark sea. Court death. The moment Zhang Chen rushed in, the dark creature struck out in anger, and the boundless darkness shrouded down, like an ancient world, trying to submerge Zhang Chen. Tisk. But, as Zhang Chen slashed out with a palm in the air, a foot. A huge crack in the sky and earth measuring tens of millions of feet hung upside down in the sky like an endless abyss. The dark world displayed by the dark creature was shattered. Click. After that, Zhang Chen's murderous power continued unabated, and he directly displayed transforming into the true form of Pangu. He appeared in the ancient palace holding the chaos sky-opening axe. When the chaos axe struck down, the ancient palace was shattered. The few primitive creatures who followed respectfully, the moment they were affected, it was reduced to ashes. And in that dark ancient palace, an extremely ancient coffin appeared. In that coffin, sealed was a head with only bones left, filled with aura, and it was unknown what era it was left behind. The dark energy of the dark realm sea emanates from this bone. Obviously, this sealed bone is the end of all darkness. Could the bones left behind in the Dao ancestor realm have such destructive power? Zhang Chen's eyes flashed slightly. He could see that the pitch-black head was a creature at the level of the Taoist ancestor. Because it could not be completely destroyed, it was sealed in the coffin. As the seal of the coffin weakened, the dark energy in the skull seeped out, gradually infecting the surrounding creatures, thus forming the entire Dark World Sea. With this thought, Jiang Chen did not hesitate, and struck out with an axe, smashing the dark skull into pieces. Wow! Followed by with the shattering of the bones, the entire Dark Sea and the reclusive dark creatures were turned into ashes and dissipated. The dark energy hidden in the sky dissipated at this moment. It was as if all the dark energy was gone. Are all connected to this skull, and live and die together? Is it over? After sensing that the endless darkness that originally shrouded the world disappeared in an instant, the creatures in this supreme world all looked excited. Taisha demon ancestor and other saint ancestor level giants were even more excited. Because they sensed, the suppression of laws that prevented them from breaking through has disappeared. This means that they also have hope to break through to the realm of Tao ancestor. After Jiang Chen calmed down the darkness, he returned to the heaven realm, opened up a dojo, preached to the people, and made this place unstoppable. The foundation of the upper world is getting stronger and stronger. After all, with the blessing of the will of the world, he is the creator God of this world. The stronger the foundation of this world, the stronger his strength will naturally be. The whole book is finished.